That is why we came up with our reverse expired listing marketing campaign. There's a lot of work up front, meaning you got to make some videos, you got to boost some ads, you got to have the right landing page.
Once you create those assets, you can reuse it over and over and over again for very, very low cost.
And what I love about this is, like your point, you create the asset and these assets become like a little income stream, a stream of leads around this particular content, around this particular solution that you're providing. It keeps working. It's like having a marketing team work day in, day out, even when you're not. Hi there, and welcome to the Chris and Garry Show, where we talk about all things real estate. My name's Chris Scott. I'm joined here by my partner in crime, Garry Kreth, and we talk about all things real estate here on this show. We think we can contribute a thing or two. Collectively, we've been selling real estate or marketing real estate for over 50 years. Oh my goodness. And so we've learned a few things and have taken a few arrows in the back. We're happy to share it with you. If you'd like to take the conversation to the next level, please be sure to check us out at thepaperlessagent.com or find us on Instagram at thepaperlessagent. Let's dive in. Garry, let's dive in and talk about the new reverse expired listing marketing campaign that we've put together. Before we do, I think it's important to address and talk a little bit about, what the traditional approach to marketing or prospecting from expired listings, right? The normal approach or the common approach that we're all familiar with is you acquire a list of expired prospects through, one of the data providers, and then you cold call on said list. Exactly. You cold call them.
It's like, hi, I noticed your home is no longer on the market. Would you like to? Sir, there's no reason to curse at me like that.
So it sounds like you're speaking from experience there, Garry.
Yes, absolutely. Look, back in the old ways of selling real estate, Chris, this was the kind of the way it was done with expired and withdrawn listings. I know we talk about just expireds, but we lump withdrawns in there because they're pretty much the same kind of animal there. But my gosh, who likes making those cold calls to people who are already angry about the real estate process? It's like stoke that fire. Why would I do this? And
there's a good chance they're upset, right?
Punishment.
There's a good chance that there's some level of disappointment, meaning that they hoped to sell their home and they didn't. And now you're calling them, right? A stranger's calling them about this situation. And you're not the only one calling on them, right? Because those data providers sell that data to a bunch of people in our market. And so you and 200 other people are calling on these same people. And aren't they just great? Aren't they really happy to get your phone calls and text
they're
messages?
so delighted. So delighted. Yeah. The typical call, hi, this is Garry Kreth with Cooper Sotheby's International Realty. And I noticed your home is no longer on the market. They would always say this, Chris. Garry, thank God you called me. Because I've been waiting for your call. You are the savior to my real estate problems. When can you come over and tell me what we need to do to sell this home quick?
That's never happened in over 26, 27 years of selling real estate?
26 years, never happened.
Never happened. Not surprising. I think the fact of the matter is that this particular method requires a tremendous amount of resilience because you have to cold call for hours a day. You have to face, a few hundred rejections before you have one success. And even that success is questionable, right? It's not like they're happy to be meeting with you, happy to be talking to you.
And that's the other thing. Like when you actually show up, like I was wearing body armor, the whole assault. I mean, you've seen the meme on social media, Chris, where it's like this 80-ish-year-old woman saying, I don't know what everybody's talking about. Real estate's easy. I love it, and I've been doing it for 5 years. I look great for a 30-year-old.
Just a little bit of stress. I feel like the combination of that rejection, stress, and all the wine you probably have to consume to deal with said rejection and stress probably causes some problems, right?
Well,
causes a little premature
Chris,
aging.
I'm 14.
Right.
No, but in all seriousness,
some hardcore cold calling there.
It's a very, very tough animal to cut and chew and swallow. It's very, very tough. Talk about resilience. Oh my goodness. And the number of calls you need to make in a given day, Chris, I remember at a certain time, I was making 90 calls a day,
Oof.
and it was just painful. I
Yeah.
like I would go home at the end of the day so exhausted. I just didn't want to get up in the morning and do it again, but I knew I had to.
It's interesting to note that that's the traditional approach, and over the years, we've innovated on it, right? So, like, you don't like cold calling, you don't like that experience of just grinding it out to try and find one person to potentially work with. So, we've innovated on that. I think one of the best ways we've done that is, and this is not even getting into the reverse expired listing marketing campaign that we're going to share with everybody today. But we've tried a lot of different versions of the expired marketing campaign to have success. One of the ways that is one of my favorites, just because of the conversion rate was so high, is our high value method of expired prospecting. This is where we take the same list of prospects. We still have to gather or purchase that list of expired prospects. But instead of cold calling, what we did is we created high value in the form of a package, a "My Home Didn't Sell Now What" package, which is just a bunch of information um, addressing that issue of like, hey, you found yourself in this situation and here's what your options are. I like this because although it is a lot more work, it's got the best conversion rate out of all the different strategies that we've tried, including the one we're about to share with everybody. However, the heavy lift on this work is what makes it for us personally, something that we're not going to really do. However, like when we've done this in the past, we've had success rates. There's a picture of one of our former colleagues creating his "My Home Didn't Sell Now What" packages, and he just print those off, hand deliver it, getting 1 in 4 callback. Like drop a package off, 1 in 4 people were calling him back.
If you look at that conversion rate versus what I was doing, when I was doing hardcore cold calling, out of 90 calls in a day, I may have 2 people
Mm.
who would not hang up on me.
Oh, interesting. How
Yeah,
like on
that
average, how
that
long would it take?
and it's because I'm not, what we're doing here with this delivery mechanism is we're not really kind of breaking into their piece by
Mhm.
cold calling and saying, "Hey, I want to talk. I want to talk. I want to talk." No, it's like, "Hey, you know what? I'm just going to drop this off for you. Take a look at it. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help."
Mm.
That's totally different, but there's more we can do.
Yeah. So in this case, we created these packages and then we just do a printout of the MLS, right, for that particular listing. What we really want to do is to be able to showcase the listing history, showing the price declines, right, or showing what took place, and a little sticky note, maybe saying, "Hey, Gary, there's a reason why your home didn't sell. It's either lack of promotion, preparation, or poor pricing strategy. Email or text me if you want to discuss what your options are." So what you've done is you've produced this highly customized, highly valuable package has the MLS printout of their home. That is high customization, therefore high value, which is why the response rate was so high. But it does take significant amount of time to produce each one of these and then, of course, deliver them. And so that is why we came up with our reverse expired listing marketing campaign. Now, this one, it borrows from all of our previous concepts. But the big difference is we no longer have to acquire a list of people. And the big difference is we're going to do a little bit of work up front so that we don't have to do as much work or very little work in the future. So our reverse expired listing campaign is one where we create some evergreen short videos, short form videos. These are, videos that are anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes long. And we can do those for specific neighborhoods that we want to work, that we want to farm. Then we drive traffic to those videos using social media ads, YouTube ads, right? What we can do is, because the videos themselves are created for specific neighborhoods or specific subdivisions, specific farm areas that you're trying to work, we can then use the language in those videos, add a little bit of budget, as little as $1 or $2 a day. So I'm not talking about spending a lot of money, but just $1 or $2 a day, driving traffic to those ads. And in the video, it promotes your "My Home Didn't Sell Now What" landing page, which is basically that package that we talked about, that we shared with you, that "My Home Didn't Sell Now What" package. Now, what we've done is we've digitized that. We've put it online and turned it into a mechanism to convert a lead. So we have traffic going to this page and people can book a consultation once they get to that landing page. This method, like I mentioned, there's a lot of work up front, meaning you got to make some videos, You got to boost some ads. You got to have the right landing page. But once that's set up, it is what we would call an evergreen marketing campaign. It works
So
24
what I
7.
love about this, Chris, is I'm not grinding it out for hours a day doing this and
Right.
getting rejection after rejection after rejection. Instead, we are just providing, and I'm not grinding it out, printing out all of these things, binding them, hand delivering them. Like I'm not grinding it out on every single one. And I think that's what I love about the efficiency of this program
Mhm.
and the effectiveness is that once you create the asset that we just talked about, those videos, that landing page. Once you create those assets, you can reuse it over and over and over again for very, very low cost. And that's the value of the upfront investment versus the investment every single minute of every single day of every single week.
Yeah, I find this strategy works really well for anybody who wants to farm a particular neighborhood or a particular area or a specific niche, right? Like let's say you're
Mm-hmm.
focused on, I don't know, modern style homes or ranch style homes in a certain area. So you can make the video about this around a niche. It can be about it's a really specific area. But to your point, Gary, you do the work one time and then you don't have to keep doing it all the time, every day,
Yes.
day in, day out. And what I love about this is like your point, you create the asset and these assets become like a little income stream, a little lead, a stream of leads around this particular content, around this particular solution that you're providing. And it keeps working. It's like having a marketing team work day in, day out, even when you're not. This works, or the strategy works because of some fun, like just basic principles around marketing and real estate. If you think about it, the number one determining factor that sellers use in choosing their agent is the listing agent's reputation, according to the National Association of Realtors. So if sellers are choosing and their number one determining factor about who they're going to choose to work with to list and sell their home, if that's our reputation, then we just need to make sure that we're getting our reputation, that we're promoting that reputation, that we're cultivating that reputation consistently over time. Because it's that consistency and people being exposed to your reputation consistently over time that is what is going to bring those opportunities to us.
Now, Chris, if you contrast this, like if you're saying this is what works,
Mm-hmm.
if you contrast this to what I used to do back in the old days of me selling real estate,
Mm.
there was so I didn't have a chance to build a reputation with people because they're hanging up on me within 3
Right.
seconds,
Well,
right?
you might even be doing damage to your reputation by making those cold calls in the first place.
That's a really good point. Is that like we're actually doing damage to the reputation, so it's the negative effect. I'm not building
Yeah.
a rep. Well,
If
I'm
you
building
call
a reputation.
somebody,
It's just not the reputation I want.
well, here's the thing. Think about it, Gary. If you call somebody that's on the do not call list, that is not good for you, right?
Well,
Like,
I never did that. No, I
no, I'm
never
just
did
saying, but
that.
I'm just saying, but like, is that could happen by accident? Maybe someone doesn't realize that someone is on the do not call list. Maybe the data providers didn't scrub that out. I don't know, but is there a chance that could be taking place when you're cold calling people?
I'm
I
saying
think no
there's a
matter what,
chance.
it's there. I believe that there's a chance. And here's the thing: you may not get busted for calling somebody on the do not call list in this case. However, it's not good for your reputation because someone's going to be sitting there thinking, "What a jerk! Don't they see that I'm on the do not call list?" The flip side is we can provide education, we can provide value, and that's exactly what this model or this campaign does is it provides the value that they do want. It gives them information that they do need access to, but instead of gating that information behind a phone call or behind us trying to make a connection and then having that phone call, is it puts it freely available online and on the internet and then
God,
actually use.
you know what? I just love this because it changes it from being an adversarial conversation and relationship. Because when you start a relationship out adversarially,
Mm.
what happens is that there's a lot of time, a lot of investment on our side to overcome that and then to finally start building trust and get rid of that adversary relationship. This just negates the adversary and just starts building trust.
Yeah. And so let's take a look because I've organized it to where there's 3 basic steps that we take to implement this campaign, right? The first step involves video. The second step involves making the advertisements. And then the third step is in getting that landing page set up. So let's dive into the details. The first step is to create evergreen short videos for specific areas, talking about your relisting service. I think the best way for this, Gary, is for us just to play this video for everybody so they can see what it looks like.
Hey Westlake friends and neighbors, do you know anyone who has found themselves stuck in a home that just didn't sell? And maybe you were in this situation yourself. And if you said yes to these questions, then you're going to find our relisting service extremely useful. I'm Garry Kreth with Cooper Sotheby's here in Austin, and we have been serving the Westlake area for over 2 decades. So I know that selling a home can be challenging, and it can possibly leave you feeling discouraged. Our exclusive relisting service uses a proven marketing plan to sell homes quickly at or above market value. Check out my article, My Home Didn't Sell, Now What?, to learn more about what you can do and how you can benefit from my relisting service. The link is in the caption, or send me a message directly.
So you can see, very easy, very short, very to the point, talking about your relisting service. Now, I want to just make a few points about that video. First thing is notice the vertical view. Notice how it is in a vertical view, meaning that Gary, you filmed it, I should say, holding the camera up this way, right? Why do we do that?
Just like this, just like that, man.
Why do you do vertical view?
Because short form video is requested by the most popular outlets that we're using, like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. They like this. Now, if I shoot it like this, it's going to cut it off. It's going to look weird because everybody, Chris, let me ask you a question. I mean, we're all consumers of social media, right? Mm-hmm. When you consume social media, are you on your laptop that has the 16:9 and everything?
No, over 90% of social media traffic happens in the apps, which means it happens on your phone.
What we have to do is we have to give the apps and our customers, this is a huge fundamental thing that we all need to understand. Give your customer what they want where they are. And where they are is they're on their mobile phone, they're on social, so give them what they want where they are, which is why we're doing the vertical view.
Now, the other thing you'll notice is there's a lot of captioning in there. We have the captions, they're animated, and part of that is for engagement purposes. And so,
Chris, I do have a question about that. What is the most recent understanding of the percentage of people who watch these videos without audio?
Oh, gosh, I'd have to look up the most recent stat. But again, it's 9 out of 10 times people are viewing social media videos with sound off. Now, if they're watching YouTube, that's a different animal. So YouTube is one where actually they're watching with sound on. But TikTok, Instagram, people typically have to hit, all right, turn that sound on. And so it's really important to get people's attention, because sometimes if people have their sound off in the app, as they're scrolling through, if it doesn't look interesting, they don't stop the scroll. Okay.
Well, if they don't see the text, they're done.
Well, there's no hook. There may not be a hook. A hook is what gets people, it is the payoff for watching the video. Why should I keep watching your video? Well, a easy way to communicate the hook and to maintain engagement is to have captions in your videos, real-time animated captions in those videos. So those are the two elements that are important to point out about the video: is vertical view and the captioning. Oh, and there's a third thing, which is Gary's talking about his relisting service. I think it's important. Why don't we run through the script real quick on this relisting service, and then we'll talk about what it is. So in the video, you hear Gary talking about this concept of a relisting service. So Gary, why don't you read this and we can chat about what the relisting service is?
Sure. Several things to notice is if you are geographically farming, like Chris is talking about, this is really important. Hey, Westlake friends and neighbors, do you know anyone who has found themselves stuck in a home that didn't sell? Maybe you were in this situation yourself, and if you said yes, then you'll find our relisting service extremely useful. I'm Garry Kreth with Cooper Sotheby's International Realty in Austin, and I've lived in Westlake for over I have to think about that since 19, so it's 20, for over 28 years. Wow, that's a big time. So I know that selling a home can be challenging and can leave you feeling discouraged. Our exclusive relisting service uses a proven marketing plan to sell homes quickly at or above market value. Check out our article, My Home Didn't Sell, Now What, to learn more about what you can do and how you can benefit from my relisting service. Link is in the caption, or send me a message directly. And like, you can modify this to whatever region you're in. Of course, you need to say, it's important to remember how long you've lived in the neighborhood.
Or served that area.
Yeah.
We've been selling. I think what's important, I want to double down on when you pointed out, hey, Westlake friends and neighbors. In this case, this video is for people who live in the Westlake area of Austin. It could have
Right.
just as easily been the Meridian subdivision in Southwest Austin, right? So you pick it. So what happens is, because we speak that at the very beginning of the video, and because there's captions, if I live in Westlake and I see that, now all of a sudden you just got my attention because I see you talking about
That's a
the
hook,
area that I
right?
live in. That's a hook. That's a hook. Now, look, what's he talking about? Now that got your attention. Quickly, oh, my home didn't sell. That hook determines whether or not they're going to keep watching because it's right for them or not. And your relisting service is basically just a way to package up the fact that you will relist their home. There doesn't have to be anything special. What we're doing is we're branding the activity so that there's more meaning behind it. There's more perceived value behind it. And what we're also going to do is we're going to do more than what the typical person, or at least what the typical expired listing prospect thinks that agents are going to do, which is, I can tell you right now, they all think we don't do anything. When you talk to an expired listing prospect, if you ask them, why do you think your home didn't sell? They're going to blame us. They're going to blame you. And they're going to say that my agent didn't do anything. And so this is an opportunity. This is what they're saying. So that may or may not be true, by the way. Whether the agent did or did nothing may or may not be true. It's just the perception that the seller has. And so we can lean into that perception by addressing it and saying, look, we understand your home didn't sell. And you might be thinking your agent didn't do anything. This is what the whole relisting service is about branding it. And what we like to do, and when we talk about this concept around my agent didn't do anything, what we want to do is contrast or polarize ourselves against us versus everybody else out there. So the fact that the expired listing prospect thinks that the agent didn't do anything, well, that's a great opportunity for us to be able to polarize and contrast what we do against everybody else. One of the talks that Gary's cultivated to handle this specific instance is our 3 P's of selling real estate, or the 3 P's of marketing real estate.
I mean, this is so important. It's like, when people have this perception of what realtors did or did not do to sell their home, by the way, I will coach everybody here watching this. Do not ever slam your competition. Do not ever talk down about them. Don't say, "Oh yeah, I can understand why your home didn't sell because they're a terrible agent." Don't ever do that, because it makes you look bad. It makes the industry look bad. Like, we're not here to do that.
Well, it also makes the seller look bad for choosing that person in the first place, because it casts judgment on their decision, right? So you really don't want to badmouth, because they made a choice to work with them. They thought it was a good idea at some point. By you saying, that person's garbage, or that person doesn't know what they're doing.
You know what we can do instead, Chris? Say, you know what? Chris, do you mind if I ask, why do you think your house didn't sell?
I don't think my agent did anything, really.
Unfortunately, Chris, that is a common perception that a lot of sellers I speak with have about their previous agent. And I think because it gets back to the point of, because of the market we've been in, they put the house on the market, they put the home in the MLS, they put the sign in the yard, and then they pray that it sells. And those 3 Ps used to work in the old way of selling real estate. And heck, we could actually get away with it now, but that's not really doing the best service for you. So what we do differently is we talk about, how do we get your home prepared for sale? How do we make sure that your pricing strategy is really beneficial to you and the marketplace? And then how do we have the most advantageous, aggressive online promotion strategy to get your home in front of the people who need it most. That's how you differentiate yourself from somebody else without talking about them in a horrible manner.
I really like the way you contrast because you have, and then a good way, like if you were if you were having this talk with somebody, a good way to represent the contrast is a lot of times when Gary's having this talk, he'll talk about the old way of selling real estate or the new way. Notice my fingers are pointing in a direction to purposely contrast the old way versus the new way. And by contrasting the old way, that is what they think most people do is just put a sign in the yard,
And nobody wants
put
the
a
old way.
nails,
Nobody
and
wants
praise
it.
it. Nobody wants that. Now, the fact is, can we get away with that sometimes? Yeah. And in the market, in some markets, maybe that works, but it's not the best thing for the seller, right? We know that that's not the best thing for. So now we have oftentimes may rationalize and say, I just didn't have time, it sold just like that. But the question is, could it have sold for more if we had increased demand through proper promotion? Could we have gotten right a better outcome? Could we gotten better terms, right? If we had increased demand through more effective promotion or effective pricing strategy. So just by contrasting back and forth, what you're doing is you're articulating your value. You're giving them a concrete reason why to hire you. And it addresses the specific issue around which they encountered conflict, which was, I did hire somebody. They did say they were going to sell my home and they didn't. And so they're looking for answers. They're looking for options. They want to know what's available. And this is a great conversation to have to make that happen. So you have this relisting service, which is basically the fact that you will just list their home and we're branding it. And we have some nice now effective ways to talk about it. What we have to do next in step number 2 is we're going to drive traffic to these YouTube videos, to these Instagram videos, to these TikTok videos, to these Facebook videos, using social media ads and YouTube ads, right? So the concept here, pretty straightforward, is to boost them. And there is some nuance to it. I will share one tip. And my favorite platform to boost on is YouTube ads for this particular campaign.
Why is that?
YouTube, well, because YouTube, owned by Google, has the best, what I would call data points and platform to be able to find the person who's actively looking to buy and sell real estate.
Oh, because people go to Google and they start searching like that, and they're like, "Oh, this person is looking for that."
Oh yeah. No, Google has everybody tracked, right? Like
Yep.
Google knows if you're going to one of the home search sites and searching, it knows you've been there. If you've been to one of the home value calculators, it knows you've been there just from your search history and through your Chrome history, which over half of the people on the internet are using a Google product to view the internet. You see, one of the powerful tools then that you can have is you can say, hey, put this video that I've made, and I want to put this video onto YouTube, and I want to show this to people who have an interest in residential homes for sale, because many people who are interested in residential homes for sale to purchase are actually, right, they're sellers in disguise, right? Because these are people actively engaging the market. So residential properties for sale, these are targeting categories that, that YouTube or Google has made available. And there's no restriction to us for being able to use these categories. Now, we still have to adhere to fair housing opportunity, and we still have to adhere to those rules and regulations of which YouTube or Google Ads will make us do, but they also make available some of these more enhanced targeting features, which is why I like it so much. So I don't want to belabor the point too much, because everyone's going to have different ways of, if you're using Facebook, obviously they don't have the data, and you could probably just get away with boosting. What happens, because we're calling out the audience for the location in the first few seconds, you don't have to do detailed level targeting. The algorithm is going to serve it up to the people who pay attention to that video, which you've called out the audience in that video. That's why I like YouTube so much compared to the other platforms. But if you're not on YouTube and you're, let's say, on Facebook or you're on Instagram, I would start there. Just boost. Okay. Over time, you want to improve the targeting. Over time, you might want to get into YouTube ads or Google ads. It's pretty straightforward. We've trained lots of people on how to do it. It doesn't take a lot. Really, the effort goes into making the video itself. Again, takes
Right.
about a minute, takes about 5 minutes to edit the video. It takes a minute to post it. So it's not like we're talking about a tremendous amount of effort. There's just more psychological effort of making the video, which I think is what most people have to overcome is, oh, I got to make a video. So once you've made that video, once you've boosted that video, you know how what we call traffic. What I love about YouTube ads and most of the platforms like YouTube, or excuse me, Facebook and Instagram is you can market these videos for as little as $1 a day.
$1 a day?
$1 a day. Yeah. I mean, I have campaigns running $1. Some where it's larger areas, it's like $2 a day, but as low as $1 a day. And you might say, well, is that enough to get in front of the people that I want? It's not like the universe is infinite in terms of the number of expired prospects in your market. So
Sure.
$1 a day is actually probably plenty sufficient to be able to get in front of the people who might find themselves in that situation. We actually want to get this video in front of people before they find themselves in that situation, so that when they do find themselves in that situation, they're already primed. They're already familiar with us. They are already open to our reputation because they've experienced part of it through the marketing that we've produced. In fact, they know more than our reputation. They know what our face looks like. They know what our voice sounds like. They kind of know us already. They actually kind of know us already, which is a huge, huge advantage that you have over your competition who might be trying to cold call on these people, right? Yeah, they've heard their voice, but it's an annoying situation versus now you've educated me. You give me something of value, which is why I like it. Now, we have to have a really effective call to action, though, because while we do want to get this video in front of people and we want to provide this service and education information, we also have to have a call to action to be able to capture leads at some point in time. So the video, right? So in the video, what we do is we mention the My Home Didn't Sell Now What resource. And this is just a web page on our site that we link to in the advertisement. Hey, if you want more information about how my relisting service can help you, definitely check out my Home Didn't Sell Now What landing page and resources where you have all your questions answered and more information and tips. And feel free to book a consultation there should you want to have personal suggestions and advice, right? So this is what it looks like. Like I mentioned earlier on, we had talked about the package, the My Home Didn't Sell Now What package that we would print out and put together. Same concept, it's just digital and it's online. Notice the very, very important feature here, which is the book consultation, which shows up on every aspect of this landing page, because that is what we're doing is we're getting in front of people who are in a take action type situation. But we are now feeding them valuable information through the video. We're getting in front of the right people through the marketing. We're feeding them valuable information. And now we're making, an extension of that value of information on this website. It's going to answer the questions of what are your options as the seller who has found themselves in this situation, or if you know somebody who has found themselves in this situation, you can pass this resource along to them. And from here is where they can book a free consultation to get customized advice on how to handle their situation. And that's it. It's that straightforward. You make the video, you boost the video, you make the landing page to receive traffic. And so let's take a look.
Really the upfront investment pays off for a long time. That's the whole goal.
Yeah, because what you're looking at is you're going to spend roughly, so for every neighborhood, you'll spend $365 a year to cover capturing those expireds from those neighborhoods.
Right.
And not only are you getting opportunity, you're actually building reputation and brand, because if you look at that script has been written in a way is to educate and inform you of a service that I have to offer. So it's not breaking any of the rules, right? We actually, we consulted in great detail all of the rules and regulations as we wrote that script to make sure that it doesn't break any rules, doesn't break any ethical issues. And so we are educating people on that service that we have to offer. That is a good way to be a representation of our reputation, showcasing something that they probably had never heard of. Relisting service. What the heck is that? I didn't even know that was a thing. Well, it's a thing now because we invented it, right? That's the beauty of it, is you can invent this thing and now all of a sudden it has this assigned value because it matters to that expired listing candidate, to that prospect. So once we have the landing page, we're done. But I think it's really helpful to examine the tech stack. What are the tools that we use to build this campaign? Because it might sound super complicated, but it's not. It's actually super, super simple. Make the video, boost the video, have the landing page available. So what do you need? I suggest you need a phone for making videos.
Oh, Chris, I have one.
It's good. I think think almost everybody has one, Gary. Just about, like I have a household of 6. There are probably 8 phones in my household, right? Like I don't even. There's
Your
just
dogs both have
yeah. Oh yeah, my
phones?
dogs. Yeah, they have their own Instagram accounts and everything. just keep actually. That's only partially true, right? I mean, actually, we do have a dog account. Anyway, so your phone for making videos, you don't need fancy lights. You don't need fancy camera equipment. You don't even need microphones. You can literally just hold and shoot and talk, which is actually what Gary did in the sample video is took his camera and busted it out and perfectly fine for primetime production. Another tool that we need is a YouTube channel because I highly suggest that you promote these videos via YouTube. And so I highly suggest that you have a YouTube channel. Now, if you're using Facebook and Instagram, then you already have places to promote it. But I highly recommend and endorse getting a YouTube channel to post your videos, not just your expired videos, but all your real estate videos, of which I believe you should be making. You will also need YouTube ads to be able to promote the videos. And that is a free thing. I mean, obviously, you have to pay money for the ads themselves, but to set up a YouTube ad account, which is a Google ad account, it's free. Just Google ads and follow the prompts to set up your account. Main thing is you're going to have to add credit card information because they want to collect their money. But again, it's free. It's easy to set up YouTube ads to make this happen. And then social media accounts, right? The other social media accounts that you might use on top of YouTube. Maybe you're on TikTok, maybe you're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. All of these are great places to be able to promote and boost your videos. And then the last but not least, you just need to have a landing page for the My Home Didn't Sell Now What resource. I know that most of you have websites or access to websites so that you can create these landing pages to be able to receive that traffic so that you can start generating more of those opportunities and building that brand, building that reputation as that listing expert agent who can help people through your relisting service all through this particular campaign.
So we hope that you found this very valuable. And if you did, make sure that you do a few things. Number 1, like this video. Number 2, subscribe to our channel. And number 3, comment down below and let us know what else you would like to hear from us.